Cancer. Welcome to your October reading. Let's go ahead and get started here with an oracle card. What is it that Cancer needs to know for October? All right, we have flow. I love this card. There's actually a lot going on. Well, it's not the most eventful in terms of number of events astrologically this month, but there's big ones. Okay, so we've got Pluto stationing direct. That's huge. We have Jupiter stationing retrograde, also very big. And we have Mars starting to come into pre-shadow as of the end of October. So there's movement. There's definitely movement, plus the eclipse happening tomorrow. So it's going to be in your best interest to be able to go with the flow and not get so locked in or be so rigid in terms of the way you think it's supposed to be. Right now, our plans are supposed to kind of get turned upside down. And the things that we thought were ultimately going to be for us are all getting reimagined. We are restructuring these ideas and notions that we have of our future. And we just got to kind of be able to take the detours as they're presented to us, okay? So, an animal spirit card for Cancer. What else does Cancer need to know for the month of October? Surrender now. Yeah, surrender and flow. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of work that needs to be done right now. Okay, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of, progress that can be had. But when it comes to kind of the grand scale stuff, the universe is very much getting its hands in the pot right now. And I always talk about this intricate dance between us and the way we show up and the actions that we take and the way the universe responds. And it's always this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right now, there's a lot of both going on. You're showing up, you're making declarations, you're putting energy into things, and the universe is responding quite quickly. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are positioning ourselves in favorable ways so that the universe can respond in favorable ways. So with the tarot cards, what else does Cancer need to know? Queen of Wands. I love this card for you because it's an Aries card. You've got Aries on your 10th house. We have the Five of Coins. I'll pull that one out because that one kind of wanted to come out too, but I'll wait on that one. All right. The Queen of Wands, she has a tenacity about her. There's passion, there's fire, there's a lot of dedication, but she is also still very capable of going with the flow. Now, there does seem to be a circumstance in your life, Five of Coins, that has been, it doesn't seem to be paying out anymore. It doesn't seem to be paying out. It doesn't seem to be earning you anything. It doesn't seem to be getting you anywhere. And it's kind of becoming more of a problem. If it isn't already a major problem, maybe for some of you, but it's becoming a problem, or it's becoming maybe even in some ways a crutch that you're leaning on. You're keeping something alive, you're keeping something going, and you probably don't even really know why. And there might be other people in your life too who are doing the same thing, or maybe it's not even you again, maybe it's not you at all, maybe it's someone external, someone who is really struggling, but they're also not necessarily feeling that sense of empowerment to do something about it. I don't think you are lacking self-empowerment with the Queen. I think the Queen of Wands is very much you stepping up to the plate in every and all ways. If you really are dealing with a situation where, you've kind of like something has run its course and it's now becoming a liability or it's now becoming a problem, this is probably going to be the time where you start to make arrangements to really walk away from that. See, sometimes the Five of Coins, it's simply a circumstance that shows up because of bad choices that we made in the past, or because we weren't fully invested ever. So it kind of just gave us some half-assed results, and it was all just kind of a product of things never really going right. Now, one theme that is showing up, not just for you, but just generally across the board for a lot of us, is there does seem to be some kind of plan or course or project that you're working on that we are abandoning without carrying it through to the finish line. And I don't even know how much we really care I don't know how much we care that we never got that thing to be the way it was supposed to be, because there's so many more prospects with something else. Now, this is not about giving up. It's not about, stopping believing in yourself or whatever. It's just that we really are reaching this end of an era in such a huge way, especially you with Pluto and opposing. Pluto's over in Capricorn right now. With Pluto stationing direct, we've got like 1.5 months left of Pluto in Capricorn for the rest of our lives. And I think we're all just itching for that new era to just finally come online. We're just dying for that to happen. And it makes sense that there are things that you're like, you know what, that's just a part of my old life. That's a part of who I used to be. That's a part of of this chapter of my life that I don't even really want to think about anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. So we're going to start moving on, and we're going to start making these arrangements like right now. Like this is happening now. And I do like the Eight of Cups. It is hard though. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying you can snap your fingers and it happens overnight. This requires a great deal of courage. If you tend to be more on the stubborn side, this is probably going to be even more difficult for you. But again, surrender and flow. This is not your time to try to keep things intact. It's not your time to try to keep things under your control. This is a time for you to let yourself get carried away, let yourself get carried into something in many ways completely unknown, but also still very much aligned with the ultimate vision that you've always had for yourself. Okay, so now we have the Nine of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Swords. Okay. I'm trying to think, because I'm feeling a lot of desire with that Nine of Swords for some reason, which is not a common thing that I feel with the Nine of Swords. There's clearly something that's stressing you out. Maybe it's the Five of Coins. Again, the thought of abandoning something or stopping something before you finish it, that might be a part of what this Nine of Swords is. Maybe for some of you it's not, but for many of you maybe it is. Like the thought of just walking away, like, ugh, that's hard. But I'm also like, these swords are pointing straight at the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is free and open and adventurous, enthusiastic. And there's always this like, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next. And the fact that these swords are pointing toward that says that you want to be here. You want to be in this completely free, unrestrained type of place. And this might be financially, maybe it's health-wise, maybe there's something going on with your relationships that you're really wanting to just, you just want to push forward. There's a lot of impatience with the Knight of Wands. And maybe you are feeling a little bit impatient. And yet the Queen of Wands up here is more restrained. See how she's just kind of sitting back, kind of relaxing, because she knows when it's the right time. But there's a part of you, I think, that really wants to push. Maybe you're really pushing for the Eight of Cups, pushing to move on, pushing for this evolution. But there's something like either you can't, there's some restriction that's on you saying you can't do this now for some reason, and that's stressing you out too. Or maybe there's some level that you're thinking that you've got to get to in order to have that. Maybe there are financial restraints, whatever the case may be. The Nine of Swords is the pain that we feel when we realize that there is a gap between where we are and where we want to be. And the trick here is to not feel sorry for ourselves for that, but to simply kind of pick ourselves up by our bootstraps, if I could be cheesy about it, and do something about it. You know, the Queen of Wands is never going to just sit and be a victim. Now, you may have victims in your world, people who are playing that role 100%. Like I say, this Five of Coins might also be someone else, because I'm seeing a lot. you guys know, for those of you who have been with me for a long period of time, you guys know that I don't typically do readings that are like, oh, well, that person's doing that and that other person's doing this, and it's all this about all these other people. I usually try to keep it about us. However, we are human beings. We live in a society. We live in communities. We all work with people. We all have these myriad relationships. And right now, I think relationships are very much highlighted because of this eclipse in Libra. And there are specific types of relationships that are being accentuated, specifically people who are not empowered. Those are the people that are really going to struggle with this month's astrology. They're going to really struggle with the energetic forces that are pulling them. Because when I look at the stars, I'm like, this is a great environment, but it's only great for people who don't fight against their own growth. There are probably people in your life who fight against their own growth. They fight against their own happiness. They fight against their own evolution. And because of that, you're going to see a lot of other people in their Nine of Swords too. You're going to have your own. We're all going to have a little bit of that. You'll have your own, but you'll definitely see it with other people too. The difference is that you don't allow yourself to sit and fester in that Nine of Swords, because you would rather just say, well, this kind of sucks. And I'm not really happy about this. And yes, maybe I am perceiving a bit of a restriction, but it doesn't mean I can't do anything. And maybe there is something I can do to push this manifestation forward. Maybe there's some track that I could take. And you're open. You're going to be very open to any and all possibilities right now, especially with the Page of Swords. What I love about the Page of Swords is his willingness to learn and his willingness to explore all these different pathways. Now, one message that came out really, really strong earlier this year in May, when Jupiter came into Gemini in the beginning, was this is a transit of finding new paths. And with Pluto doing his thing in Capricorn, finishing that whole era out, kind of really completing everything, we're just meant to take different roads. That's all. We're just connecting ourselves in our present moment to our ultimate desired future in a different way. So that's why we have to flow. That's why we have to surrender, because that original road that you were on is full on fell apart. You got to find a different road. The good news is that your GPS is very much intact and it's going to easily reroute. So you have to just kind of be willing to hear that and willing to listen to it. And you have to be willing to kind of make that turn when it's time to turn, even though it may not necessarily feel instinctual or natural. There might be things that come up, say, this doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't, I'm not going to say it doesn't feel right, because I think it's going to feel right, but it's not going to feel natural, if that makes sense. It's kind of like when you are, let's say you play golf, let's say, okay? And you've been swinging a certain way for years and years and years, and then suddenly you hire a coach and they give you a new hand position, a new hip placement, a new swing technique, whatever. And it's not going to feel right. It's going to feel like you're doing it wrong. And yet your swing still improves and your game improves and you just get better. So you know that it's right and you know that it's good, but it's just a little uncomfortable. And that just might kind of be where you're at, and that's fine. But the thing I like about the page is his willingness to at least try. So Cancer, I do think you're in kind of an experimental mode right now where you're willing to try it a different way. You're willing to get out of your own way. You're willing to get out of your own head, which maybe you really, like I say, I don't think you're going to really be here very long, because you're going to get fed up with this, because you realize how unproductive the Nine of Swords actually is. And it is very unproductive. I just don't think we have time for that. We don't have time for things that aren't productive or efficient. Nine of Swords is neither. So we want to lean into the Knight of Wands, who is ready to leap forward into the future, ready to leap forward into whatever else, and just say good riddance to all the other stuff. And who cares if you don't finish? And who cares if you stop something in the middle to go pursue something else? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters right now. I mean, it might matter to you, but I mean, really no one cares. No one cares what you're doing. So let's see what else comes out. Cancer, what else do you need to know? We have the Devil, Nine of Wands. Yeah, Scorpio season is coming in kind of hot. So this is kind of the cards for the end of October here. So this is when Mars starts not stationing, but going through pre-shadow in your sign, in Cancer. So we're definitely going to feel that. You are definitely going to feel that. And the thing about Mars, when he's doing his retrograde stuff, is we get very impulsive. We tend to do spontaneous things. We tend to act in quicker ways. We're not necessarily ready to just jump on, or not, we're not necessarily ready to sit and wait on things. However, I think you're very skeptical of that impulse. And that's why the Queen, I do like the Queen of Wands, because while she is fiery and passionate, and she is capable of moving on things quickly, she's also not stupid. And she's not going to do anything haphazardly or do anything just simply because there's a bunch of flurried movement around her. She's not going to let the environment affect her. And so I do still see you moving quickly, but also with an exceptional degree of self-control and, to a degree, caution, because you are skeptical of your own impulse, which is a good thing, because being impulsive and being stupid sometimes can really go hand in hand. Not always, but sometimes they can. And I know you don't want to do anything stupid. So you are thinking things through a lot. Even though I think there is this big party that's like, oh, I just want to just completely let go. I want to completely embrace freedom. I want to completely change my life. I want to completely do X, Y, or Z. But you know that it can't be done at a snap of the finger. So we're going to do it right. We're going to start making those arrangements. We're going to start getting organized. We're going to start preparing and doing everything we can to begin eliminating all the things that are not for us. You know, now the Devil does feel like someone else to me. And he has felt like someone else to me all month with all of these readings, dealing with difficult personalities. And these, because they are coming out heavily external as well, that would make sense, that there's someone who has a big ego, someone who is deathly afraid of this change, because we're all feeling it, but not everyone is going to respond to it so positively. A lot of people are going to say, I don't know that I'm ready to become the person that I've always said I wanted to become, even though the door is wide open for that, wide open for that life to begin. And you're going to notice people around you. Now, I don't necessarily know that this is like an infiltrating force, like this is someone trying to come at you or trying to attack you or do anything malicious, but they are around. And they might be someone you associate with on a somewhat regular basis. And their energy is so draining. I certainly don't think that it adds to your enthusiasm. I think it has the opposite effect. For some reason, I'm feeling like a fear-mongering. So there might be something, if you're here in the US, we do have an election coming up. It is October. We know about the October surprise. We know politics gets out of control. So there might be something governmental or institutional, political, something like that. Again, it's not a full infiltration, but it's around, and it's hard to kind of separate yourself from it. Although I do see you doing your best here with the Nine of Wands. But you're also, because it's in your life, because it's there, it's hard to just ignore. And that might also be adding to the Nine of Wands kind of protection mechanism, even with the Four of Coins, that kind of mechanism that you're trying to keep something safe or keep something protected or keep something from falling apart. This is not a real threat, but you're trying not to be impulsive or stupid, because just in case, if that person does do something or does say something or does whatever, you want to make sure that you don't lose because of their actions. I just said that last sentence I just said just made me think of something. So one of the things, now we don't have anything in the 8th house for you right now, technically, but Pluto has dipped in there this year, was in Aquarius in the 8th house. Now Pluto is stationing direct, so it's starting to move back toward that 8th house, and it's so close to the 8th house right now. So close, within like less than a degree, right? So one of the things with the 8th house, it is really common when we have big placements there for us, the people with the 8th house stuff, to pay the price of other people's bad decisions. And I think you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to be the one that has to pay the price for something that someone else is doing or has done. And that's probably one of the reasons why, there is this protection mechanism going on. You have too many things to worry about. You have too much growth and ambition and too many dreams to realize, to worry about someone else's issues, and especially to worry about them so much that you actually take them on as your own. So I see you being highly protective and setting a very firm boundary with you and anyone else who's around that kind of has that devil energy. Devil energy might be kind of narcissistic or very hedonistic. It might be someone who is a little self-important. Maybe they are, egoic, all those kinds of words. You just don't want to be bound. I think you're doing everything that you can possibly do to not be bound to someone like that. And maybe many of you are actually leaving situations where you were bound to someone like that. A company, a relationship, a financial entanglement, whatever the case is. But you seem to be getting away from it if it's something that's pre-existing. And you seem to be doing a really good job of cutting yourself or preventing any type of attachment if it's something new coming in. I'm just looking at that 4 of coins, because I kind of am just seeing you minding your own business as much as you can. Because again, you have your own stuff to deal with. You've got your own 9 of swords. You've got your own 5 of coins. Yes, you're going to see it in other people. Yes, there's going to be other people around you, but you've got your own stuff to deal with. I just don't see you making other people's problems your own. That's all. Nor should you. Like, unless it's someone you really love and like they're your spouse and they're your person forever, or it's your child or it's your parent or something like that, and you love them, of course, different story. I don't see the love here. These are probably just people that, are in your life. Okay, let's pull out the clarifiers, because I have a feeling this reading is going to get kind of interesting with the clarifiers. So if you want to join, the link is in the description box in the comment thread down below. We're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all the cards I'm about to pull out. So again, if you want to join, the link is in the description box and the pinned comment thread down below. So let's start by clarifying and opening up the Queen of Wands. What is it that we need to know with the Queen of Wands here? Of course, I'm going to mess up all the cards. There we go. 5 of Wands. There is probably going to be a little drama. I'm not going to lie. It might be a little drama. 4 of Coins again. Another 8 of Cups. Beautiful. I love to see the repeat messages. Kind of solidifies the original message. The Hanged Man. Justice. Not surprising. It's Libra season. We get the Libra card. Everything's coming into balance. We've got the Page, Wands, the Moon. I like the Moon. Obviously, it's your ruling planet. Another 5 of Coins. Tower, the Star. Oh, Knight of Wands on a Knight of Wands. So we'll pull out 3 more cards. So we've got 10 of Coins, the Queen of Swords. Yet again, another energy that's kind of like holding back that enthusiasm a little bit. 7 of Cups. There's still things to figure out. Nine of Cups. Wishes coming true. Beautiful. 10 of Swords. 5 of Swords. Yeah, I was definitely not liking that devil at all. Definitely not liking the devil. And Queen of Wands. And yet you still handle it with grace. 9 of Swords again. Eight of Wands. Seven of Wands. Four of Swords. And last but not least, the Three of Coins. Beautiful. All right, Cancer, this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you so much. Have an amazing October, and I'll talk to you soon.